today's practice, you're going to need blocks, a blanket, a bolster or a pillow. And if you don't have a bolster or a pillow, you can also use just any blanket and your blocks. But the thing that we definitely need for today is probably the blocks. All right, let's go. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Leah, and we're going to be working through a water element flow. We're going to start our practice on our knees. Take our hands to our heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your arms down to your side slowly. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, open up as you bring your arms down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, come down. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. We're now going to come to a tabletop. We're going to take our knees a little closer than mat's distance apart. You're going to bring your feet together, and we're going to do some cat-cows, but we're going to roll back into child's pose and then forward. So as we inhale, we're going to drop our bellies, lift our chest, roll back. As we inhale, exhale, round out, and come forward. Inhale, come back. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, roll back. Exhale, come forward. We'll do this 2 more times. Bring your knees together. You're going to tuck your toes, and then we're going to come up into downward dog. So press into your palms, lift your hips, and come into our first downward dog. Pedal out your feet. Do any kind of movements here, and ground yourself into your first downward dog. You can have your feet hips distance apart or together. Your knees can be bent, and your heels do not have to touch the ground. On your next inhale, you're going to lift up onto your toes, bend your knees, step or hop to the front of your mat into halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, slowly rise up to stand. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Take 2 deep breaths here. Ground all 3 parts down on your feet. Your heel, your toe, and your pinky toe side. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Take a moment here. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms. Step or hop back into plank pose. You can rock forward, come down onto your belly, or halfway up into upward dog. Or you can come all the way down to your belly and go into cobra. Take yourself up and back, hips up and back, into downward dog. Take 2 breaths here. Push into your palms. You can walk out your feet again. Whatever feels comfortable. You can stretch your sides. Come back into center. Lift up onto your toes, bend your knees, step or hop to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, slowly rise yourself all the way back up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to take one more sun salutation. Inhale, rise your arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step or hop back. Chaturanga, upward dog, and then back into downward dog. Take one breath here. Center yourself in your downward dog. Our right leg straight and strong up. We're going to bring it forward, tuck it in, knee to tricep. Bring it back, tuck it in, knee to tricep. Bring it back, bring it in, knee to tricep. We're gonna hold, flex our foot, and then plant our foot between our palms. Bring our back knee down, and we're going to rise up onto the front leg. We can have our hands propped on top of our thigh. Bring our hands forward. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to come back. We're going to swim our arms back and come into half split and try to lean forward as much as you can. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, plant your hands down beside your front foot. Then bring it onto the inside. Walk your foot out, and we're going to bring it. You can either lift it and bring it over, or you can tiptoe it, however you want to make it, and into this position. So I'm going to do it facing you, but you guys can stay the exact same way. We'll come into gate pose. We're going to engage our core, lift up. We're going to inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hand, you can either have it on a block or come down to the ground, have your arms straight up, or all the way down. We're going to take 2 long inhales here. Now on the next inhale, we can either walk our hands around or sweep our arms against the ground and come to the other side. Rise up and to a bend towards the straight leg. If this is ever too much, you can have your hand on your hip. 2 breaths here. Inhale, we're going to sweep all the way back to the first side, and we're going to try to tilt our rib cage up towards the sky. 2 breaths. All right, inhale, come around and switch to the other side. Open up to the sky. And on the next inhale, we'll come back up to center. We will bring that knee in, and we will tuck our toes and push back up into downward dog. Lift our legs straight and strong up. Open up our hip, bend our knee, and we're going to roll out our hip to both directions. Do one way a couple times, then the other way. Now we're going to bring our leg back up, tilt it over, and bring it back behind you. And we'll come into Wild Thing. You can have it so it's just here. If it's really uncomfortable bringing your leg behind, that's okay. You can bring it in front. But if you can, bring it back and try to open your chest towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, you're going to pivot back on that straight leg, raise the back leg, and try slowly bringing it back up to the front into a lunge position. Plant your palms, tuck your front leg into your chest, and then come back down into downward dog. Take a moment here, take a couple breaths. We're going to bring that same leg up, straight and strong. Now we're going to bring it forward, turn our calf to be parallel with the front of the mat, or just bring it in a bit. It can be closer to your body or further out. I'm just going to do the other side to make it easier for you to see. You can have your foot out to the side of your hip and come into it. So we're going to do an active variation first. So we're going to plant our hands down beside us. We can also use blocks. So with blocks, we can plant them down and we can use them to help us lift our bodies off the ground. So you want to be lifted. And scissor your legs together as much as you can. That will help you lift. Come onto your back toe, and we're going to hold this for 2 breaths. This is an active pigeon variation. Exhale, and we're going to come all the way down into a pigeon pose. So if this is really not a comfortable position for you, you can always stick something under the hip here, just to make it easier, or you can place something down under here just so it's a little bit more relaxing. So for the, we're going to crawl forward for the relaxed variation of this. And we're going to breathe in and out here for 3 breaths. Actually, we'll do 5. On the next inhale, you're going to walk yourself slowly back up to a seated variation. You're going to tuck your back toes, plant your palms, and you're going to tuck up into a downward dog with the foot into your chest, and then bring it back down, and we'll come into downward dog. Now we're going to move into the other leg. Take your left leg up, bring it straight and strong up. Exhale, you're going to rock forward, knee to tricep. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, rock it forward. Inhale, rise up. One more time. Exhale, bring it forward, hold it, flex your foot, bring your foot in between your palms. Bring your back knee down, and you're going to lift up onto that bent leg. In the front, bring your hands out in front of you. We're going to inhale here, and then exhale, swim your arms back and bend forward. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale. All right, so the next time we come forward, plant your palms, and then you're going to bring them on the inside of your foot, and you're going to open up into gate pose. So from here, from a lunge position, you're going to lift your foot up and bring it over to the side, or you can walk it over however you would like and come into a gate pose. Engage your core, lift up. Inhale, raise your arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring yourself down to the right side and open your chest up to the sky. 2 breaths here. Inhale, sweep it forward and come up onto the other side. Two breaths. Inhale, sweep it forward. Bring it across. Bring it to center. Plant your palms on the ground. Bring your knee in. Now we're going to push up and back into downward dog. Lift your left leg up, straight and strong. Bend your knee, open your hip, and roll out your leg twice in one direction and then twice in the other direction. Bring your leg up, and you can step it back over and come into Wild Thing. Take 2 breaths here. Now we're going to pivot on that straight leg and lift that leg up and slowly bring it to the front of our mat and into low lunge. Plant your palms. Bring your heel into your chest, or your thigh into your chest, and bring yourself back into downward dog. Lift your left leg up, bring it forward, bring your shin parallel with the front of the mat, and bring it down into Pigeon Pose. We'll start with the active variation, so come onto your toes. You can use blocks if you want, but you're going to scissor your legs together and you want to lift a little off the ground. And we'll hold this for 2 breaths. Exhale, come down, and we'll go into the passive variation. So we'll crawl ourselves forward and we'll take 5 breaths here. Take your last breath, and we're going to walk ourselves slowly back up. We're going to press into our palms, come onto the ball of the back foot, tuck our foot in, and bring it back down into downward dog. We're going to bring our knees down at the same time, slowly. When you get to the ground, come back and sit on your heels. We're going to take a moment here to collect ourselves. and process everything that we've done. Take your hands on the top of your legs and you can hold your palms open or down, whichever is comfortable. And we're going to take 5 deep breaths here. We'll take this time just to bring ourselves down a little from all the motion that we've been doing, all the hard work. Take one final breath. All right, so we'll come back up into tabletop. Press into our palms, come onto the balls of our feet, and then press up into downward dog. Stick our right leg straight and strong up, and we're going to come forward back into pigeon pose where we were. But this time we're going to take it a little bit further. I'm actually going to do my other leg so you can see it. So we come back into this thing. What we can do is to help us stay up a bit, we can stick a block underneath our glutes. We can bend our back knee. We're going to come into Mermaid Pose and bring your hand back and try grabbing your foot. If that's not happening, that's okay. You can use a strap, or you can just work on bending your leg as much as you can. If you want to, you can take it from the inside. And if you want to go a little bit further, bring it into the crease of your arm and bring the front arm forward and up overhead. The whole goal of this is to try squaring your shoulders a little bit more towards the front, but just being able to do it is still pretty amazing. If you want, you can have the block there. If not, you can try doing it. I am still pretty wobbly at trying to keep the active version. Well, without having a block, I just kind of collapse into it. So it does help having the block there until you can have a little bit more activation to stay in the pose. So I'm going to put the block back. And we're going to hold this for one more breath, whether it's just holding the foot or the full variation. All right, release your foot and try not to slingshot your leg back. Remove the block. We're going to plant our palms, bring up onto the ball of the back foot, and bring ourselves back into downward dog. Take a couple breaths here to digest that. Now we're going to do the other side. So we're going to lift our left leg straight and strong up to the back, bring it forward, and we're going to place it down. I'm just going to do the other leg on the other side. And so you can see it. So bring yourself into pigeon pose. And if that helped, you can put the block under your glutes on the one side. And you can try grabbing your foot, using a strap, whatever is helpful. If you can, get it into the crease of the arm, bring your arm up and back, and grab your hands, bring your hands together, clasp them together. We'll take 5 breaths here. One more breath. Release your arms. Let your foot slowly come back. Remove the block. Plant our hands down to the ground. Bring your leg up and back and come into downward dog. I'm going to switch sides again. All right, so downward dog. We're going to, again, come to our toes and slowly lower our knees to the ground. Lift up our feet, cross our legs, and we're going to roll over our shins and come onto our bum. So we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. You can also use a pillow with blocks underneath to help you prop yourself up, or with a blanket and blocks, anything that'll make it a little bit more comfortable. I am going to start with my bolster, or if you have a bolster, and then halfway through I'm going to try to remove it, because as we open up into this, we will get a little bit further. So we're going to hold it for about a minute. So we're going to crawl ourselves down, relax into this position as much as you can. So get yourself into a good position where you just feel a bit of a stretch. You don't want to become stressed or it to be really uncomfortable, because then you will tense up more and it will be harder to stretch. So find a comfortable position, probably about 60% of how far you can go, and we'll stay here for the first half a minute. And then maybe you can see if you can take out, if you had a block underneath, see if you can take the block out, or you can just see if you can go a little bit further, maybe take it away completely. See whatever's comfortable for you and bring yourself a little bit further into it, if it's comfortable. So we also don't want our feet to be moving in like this too far, or moving out. I can't even do that. Moving out too far. We want them to be relatively straight up. And if for some reason this is really hard on the back of your knees, or they are very lifted, you can have blankets or something soft under there, just to make it a little bit nicer. And then you don't feel so much pressure down on the back of your hamstrings. All right, now we're going to, if you would like, you can bring yourself a little bit further for the second part of this. Five more seconds. All right, and slowly bring yourself up and out of it. This is a pretty big stretch, so do it as slowly as you need to. And you can help yourself in, and we're going to bring our legs together. You can shake your legs out, give them a shake in any way they need, because I know that can be a lot. And the next thing we're going to do is another pretty big hip opener. So you might want to use a blanket for this. I like it for under my knees because it's a lot of pressure on your knees. So we're going to get into the frog pose. So I like to, fold up my blanket a couple of times just to make it really cushy on the knees. you're going to bring your knees out as far as you can, and you want to try to bring your feet out further than your knees. And you can stay up on your hands, or you can come down onto your forearms. And the whole thing is you want to be just slightly pushing back. So I'll do it this way so you can see. You want to start pushing back this direction as much as you can, but obviously just go as far as comfortable for you. And we're going to stay here for a minute. You can also have your feet closer together if this is super, super intense, but it's something you can work towards, is having your feet a little further out. This can be a pretty intense pose, so if you need to come out of it at any point, that's okay, but try staying in it as long as you can. But it definitely helps when you have something cushy under your knees. Another 10 seconds. And to come out of this pose, it's usually not very graceful, so yeah, so don't worry anything about that. What I usually do is either come right back up and bring my legs in and roll back, or you can not from your stomach, however it's good for you. And we are going to come into a supported fish pose next. So we'll take the blanket out of the way. And for a supported fish pose, we will need 1 or 2 blocks, or a block and a pillow. So for this fish pose, I'm going to get you set up. Okay, so what you want to do is have a block. You can have it this way, you can have it this way, and you want it to be about here on your back. So maybe just below your shoulder blades. So place it down, and you can also have a block for your head. I like to have it on this setting. So you can have your knees bent to come into this. If this is ever too much, you can also do it with actually a bolster or a pillow. And you just put this by your sacrum. Here, I'll show you this way first. By your sacrum, and you just lie back and down onto it, and you can bring your legs out if you want, or if it feels comfortable. So I'm going to do it with the blocks. So we will have it, 1 for my head, 1 for the back, and we'll come back down and onto it. Lengthen our feet out, and we're going to stay here for 3 minutes. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit as you're relaxing there, about a little bit about water and why it is so relaxing. So water is a source of life. We need water in order to survive. Our ancestors would search for water to make sure that they could stay alive. And when they found water, all the stress would end up going away because they had found what they needed to survive. Blue is also a very relaxing color. So when we are around water, this is a huge relaxing factor. There is also just the awe and the inspiration that we get from water can be very relaxing. There's also the sounds of water. If we think about meditation tapes or anything that we do to help us fall asleep, usually those things have to do with water. Waves, thunderstorms, rain hitting the roof, all kinds of things. Water is just a huge relaxing thing, and it helps us center ourselves. I know for me, I find water extremely relaxing, and just being in water can help me calm down, help my stomach aches go away, help me bring myself back to a level which is more acceptable for the world. There's so many things about water that are important and beneficial. So we're going to slowly come out of this fish pose. So you can remove the blocks from under you and come down into Shavasana. You can remove the blocks, come back down onto your back, have your palms open towards the sky, your legs extended out in front of you. Thank you for practicing with me today. May the light in me honor the light in you.